Alright guys, in today's video, we're watching The Pathetic Life of an Internet Alpha Male by Patrick CC. Let's check this video out.
A generation of lost young men turned to the internet looking for role models, and instead found a cesspool of self-proclaimed alpha males ready to exploit them. These gurus preach confidence and discipline, but the deeper you look, the clearer it becomes that their lives are nothing like what they sell. Behind the tough guy personas are
Liver King.
men drowning in insecurity, fraud, lies, and desperation. Some of these guys claim to have the highest...
Mike Israetel. Bro, I hope he goes into all the backgrounds of all of these guys that he's showing right now, because I know a little bit of background on like each of these guys, and it's very interesting.
IQ on the planet, and others literally admit
Clavicular. This guy's just been blowing up recently. I hope he goes into Clavicular on this video, dude. This dude is the most insane. Like, just to give y'all a little background, this motherfucker does meth to help him look good, get what they call the meth look. It's part of the looks maxing community. Here, I'm gonna just keep the video going.
Doing meth to look more attractive. Today we're discussing the most notorious ones, starting with King Azulai, the alpha who pled guilty to sexual contact with a 15-year-old girl.
Bro, I've never heard of this dude. He looks like
Azulai essentially looked at Andrew Tate and said,
I was just about to say, he looks like an Andrew Tate wannabe. He's got the cigar, he's got the beard, he's trying to look all serious, and I guess, bro,
I can do the same thing, only Ben has less charisma and it is way less convincing when he lies, because his origin story is almost certainly completely made up. According to Ben, his mother came to America through the Mexican border to give birth to him. He spent his early childhood going between America and his mother's home country of Israel, before permanently settling in the United States at 10 years old. Ben claims that he began visiting a Chinese restaurant every day for lunch, where he was mentored by the restaurant's owner and trained in the art of kung fu. Ben, who barely
all right, hold on. It might be true. Let's just keep going.
barely spoke English at the time, became the target of bullying at school, and used his newly acquired martial arts skills to beat anyone and everyone up who disrespected him.
People really understand things better when they get a fist in their face. They just act different. So everybody started respecting me.
At the age of 13, Ben claims that he fought 30 guys at once and they could not fully defeat him. Well, at least that's what I think. He changes the story a lot.
I got my ass kicked one time in my life. I was 13 years old. I got jumped by about 30 guys outside of a house party.
When I was 13 years old, I got jumped by like 30 guys. They beat shit out.
Why is it always black guys? Why why is the thing to beat for some of these internet alpha males, who are a lot of them a little racist, if not straight up racist? Why is the evil villain the one to beat black guys? I don't know. Let's just keep going.
Out of me. One hit me with a baton over the face. And that was the time that I stopped hanging out with people. And believe it or not, today one of my best friends is a black guy. But at the time, you know, it was literally people that I knew, and they jumped me. You know, 30 guys. They were 17 and 18. I was 13.
I fought guys.
Yeah, this is straight bullshit. If anybody, this is the thing, like, with these internet alpha male dudes, people watch them, they go down the rabbit hole, they follow their whole shtick, and these guys have the craziest lies to build their audience. Like, there's no way any logical person believes that this dude was 13 years old and beat up 30 dudes who were 18 years old. Like, this makes literally zero sense. But, okay, Master of the Art of Kung Fu. Let's keep going.
Guys that were 7 foot tall, and I fought guys that were almost 400 pounds. I fought 10 guys at the same time and beat their ass, and I fought 40 guys and I got jumped by them, and I was 13 years old. It did not matter how many people it was, how big you are, you could be 50 feet tall.
My thing is, why are you getting into so many fights? What are you doing to people to where you have to get into fights with 10 guys, 30 guys, 400-pound dudes? Every dude that I've met that's giant like that, 400 pounds, you know how big you have to be? You're either super obese and tall, or you're literally pumping all the steroids in the world in your body. Like, to be 400 pounds, that's literally like Shaq on roids. Like, what are we talking about here? And, bro,
Developing a reputation for being a fighter, Ben said he joined the Russian mafia and started participating in underground fighting matches.
And eventually, at the age of 18, I became one of the guys in the mafia. I was named the Kid, and it was the Russian mob. I started fighting underground fights.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's telling the freaking truth.
and there's a black guy interviewing him after all this. Man, all right, I guess.
You started kicking everybody's butt.
Yeah, he was putting me in there with anybody. I told him, give me anybody, I'll eat their throat. I don't care who it is.
You were just a...
I was a... He was literally saying just...
My favorite part about Ben is that even though he portrays himself as a ruthless, vicious fighter, he does show his deep insecurities for his height. Standing at a mere 5 foot 7 inches, he justifies his height by comparing himself to some of the worst men in human history.
Height doesn't mean anything. It's 5'6". Having longer limbs do not make you
They cut it out. Did he say Hitler?
better. You ever seen Putin? 5'6". No. Joseph Stalin? 5'7.5".
Anyways,
Well, he's literally comparing himself to some of the worst people in history. Now, I don't know all the evil stuff Putin's done, but we're talking about Stalin and Hitler. Like, he could have said anybody else. Bro could have said Napoleon, who, again, he was like a warlord. He ran France or whatever. And he was supposedly super short. But I don't know if his history's super evil, but he definitely was conquering a bunch of lands. But Napoleon, Floyd Mayweather, bro, I don't know, Kai Cenat, shoot, what?
while he was participating in underground fights at age 18, he was also arrested, which led to some prison time.
I got arrested for something that they said that I did, and I didn't do it. And when I got out, all clean, after I spent a little bit of time in jail, I said, I'm never coming back here again.
Remember this because we would later find out why he actually went to prison, and it was much worse than fighting. After his stint behind bars, Ben says he went to China where he trained with Shaolin monks, who taught him some interesting ways to strengthen his bones.
And they explained to me that the strongest part of the body is actually your skull. And if you train your skull for about an hour a day, bang it against the wall, after a year it becomes 4 times thicker than it really is.
Okay, so this guy's saying that his skull is 4 times thicker than it was in the past. Just from looking at him, I don't know if I necessarily believe that. Also, trained by restaurant owner, kung fu master. Okay, then we got trained by the Russian mob, and then he went to go train with Shaolin monks. Now, was this before or after beating up all those people? Because if I was able to be 13 years old, beat up 18 black dudes, I don't think I would need to go do extra training with Shaolin monks banging my head up against the wall. I feel like these dudes are legit just trolling to see what they could get people to do and follow them. I feel like that's the same way with clavicular, but hopefully he goes into clavicular on this video.
Which means that you become unstoppable, indestructible.
I actually do believe that Ben would regularly bang his head against the wall, because only someone who did that would manufacture this online persona by using plots from Fight Club, The Karate Kid, and Kung Fu Panda, and think that we were going to believe it. It's very clear that Ben is trying to make his childhood sound more interesting than it actually was, but he lies so much that he can't even keep track of his own contradictions. Now, it is possible that some of his story could be true, but there are so many things that contradict each other to the point where it makes it seem like everything is a lie. Firstly, he said he started his own business shortly after being released from prison and was making 50 grand a month by the time he was 20, thus making him able to retire by age 24. But Ben has also claimed that he worked for a top secret counterterrorism unit for over 10 years.
I told you, I worked in counterterrorism for over a decade. So for me, I wasn't allowed to be even on social media or any of these things. And even today, I'm not allowed to even speak about what unit I was in, things like that for the next 5 years. I can't share it with anybody, but I can say that I worked.
There's a lot of people out there that would say, now that's where I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah, I'm calling straight bullshit. When did you have time between all the different trainings and mafias to...
That's fine.
Nobody cares. I
And
don't
it's
care.
convenient that you can't talk about it, so no one can verify.
Well, you know, there's units that are called invisible units.
I'm not doubting you. I always give everyone the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I don't care.
But if I were to question it, I would say, well, wait a minute. At 17, you were homeless. At 18, 19, you were cleaning carpets. Then you got into
I got out of
telemarketing. Yeah. Then you started doing real estate. You started investing here and there. That was only 10 years ago. So when was the counterterrorism?
yeah.
And
when
who
you
is it
have-
for? The Israeli army?
Well, it's Israel and the United States. You work with both.
That's the
Because that
CIA.
No. Counterterrorism is a little bit different.
Well, you had to be with somebody.
Yeah, but can't talk about who I was with. Come on.
Now, if he truly retired at age 24, then he would have had to start working in this alleged counterterrorism unit at the age of 14. This also means that he would have been working in this position while he was going to high school, fighting in underground cage matches, living with Chinese monks, and also being locked up in prison. And since we can't tell what is actually a lie and what is the truth, it's easy to assume that his lifestyle of endless riches, mansions, and sports cars are also greatly embellished.
Hey guys, just wanted to pause the video really quick to ask if y'all can like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a ton and it's completely free. So if y'all could do that for me, that'd be clutch. Alright, let's get back into the video.
Taking a look at his personal website, Ben claims to have made his $150 million fortune selling patents. I was only able to find 2 published patents under the name of Benjamin Azoulay, both of which were filed in 2020. Even if
Okay, what are these patents for? A detection communication module arranged to implement a face detection function and an optical wireless communication function. Okay, an optical wireless communication device includes a processing component which is configured to produce transmitted digital signals during transmission periods. So this dude is an inventor, a mob boss, a kung fu master, a Shaolin monk, cage fighter. Okay, all right.
were to assume that both of these patents somehow sold for a grand total of $150 million, they were filed well after his 24th birthday, which he claims at that point was when he was able to retire due to his endless riches. I'm fairly certain that this is a completely different person with the same name, and Ben has no history of selling patents at all. He also claims in his biography to have had an active role in 16 different businesses that have generated $500 million in sales, as well as claiming to have won multiple awards for both bodybuilding and cage fighting. I tried to find any evidence of these claims and came up with absolutely nothing. But at the end of the day, even the most simple framing of Ben's life doesn't make sense. If he truly made 150 mil and was able to retire at age 24, why is he trying to sell people a self-improvement course online? According to Ben, it's because he wants to impart his wisdom to young men and help them become strong and successful like he claims to be.
Okay, but if you already have 150 M's, how much are you selling this course for? $1,000, a few $1,000, a few $100 to making a few extra bucks, but you want to help men? Like, I don't know, why not just do it for free if that's really your goal? But I digress.
There's nothing that could impress me. I don't care if you have a Bugatti, you have a private jet, you have a yacht. I've seen it all. I don't care for it. I care for people now. And what I do for many years now is coach people, help guys not to go through the things that I went through. You could be a strong man. You could be a tough guy. You could be an alpha, but you got to do it right.
This sentiment, as nice as it sounds, doesn't hold much weight. Someone who made $150 million would not be selling a course. The course he's selling is funding the mansions, cars, and lifestyle he portrays. But there is one thing Ben is telling the truth about. He did in fact spend time in prison, although he hasn't been fully honest about how he ended up there. A YouTuber named John Bravo Films was able to uncover court documents revealing that Ben was sentenced to prison after he, his brother, and his friends took turns brutally assaulting a 15-year-old girl while she was intoxicated. Without getting into specifics, the court documents tell an unbelievably violent and graphic story that resulted in the young girl becoming both mentally and physically scarred from the event. Once the girl was able to escape the men, she called the police and the 3 were arrested. Ben was 18 years old and thus tried as an adult. He also admitted his guilt in open court. Ben vehemently denied all of the information that John Bravo revealed and responded exactly how you would expect him to. He basically said he is being canceled by The Matrix.
Bro, this dude is literally just trying to be another Andrew Tate, bro. This is like, bro, even down to the messing with underage girls. I don't know if y'all have ever seen it, but Andrew Tate literally has clips where he brags about dating 15 and 16 and 14-year-old girls. I think he said he was like 21 at the time. Doesn't make it much better. That's still freaking crazy. But he's trying to be Andrew Tate in every single way, even down to the grape victims.
Now it looks like I pissed off a lot of people, guys. A lot of people. So many because I became so influential so quick. And I'm literally one of the most talked about influencers in the world today, that I got to the point that they're putting out a lot of false information about me. A lot of bullshit. But you see, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm gonna say this. It looks like the Matrix is attacking me.
But the pressure from those online was too big for Ben to ignore, so he further elaborated in a now deleted video where he claims the entire situation was made up. He claims that the girl in question filed a $15 million lawsuit, and rather than spending hundreds of thousands in lawyers' fees, they settled for a much smaller amount under the agreement that he pled guilty. The story completely contradicts what is verifiably written in the court documents, as they directly claim that the nurses observed physical signs of SA all over the girl's body. Unsatisfied with his response, John Bravo continued exposing Ben, revealing that this was not even the first time Ben was charged with SA. The court
Thank you to whoever this John Bravo guy is, bro. Keep exposing these dudes, man. Like, people need to see that this is straight BS that these guys are pushing, and they're all got some shady background stuff going on.
Documents clearly state that Ben and his brother Dylan had a past history of charges for SAing underage intoxicated girls. King Azulai has continued to try and define exactly what really happened, but whenever he clarifies things, it doesn't exactly make him look better.
I was never convicted of. I was convicted of oral copulation with the minor. I was 18, she was under 18, and I agreed to take a plea deal that I got a job from her. They were trying to teach me a lesson because a year before that, when I was underage, I had a fight with my ex-girlfriend. She cheated on me. I got hell of upset and I smacked her in the back of the head.
Recently, he has accused his
Okay, so he's a woman beater too. Okay, that's just another crazy fact, I guess.
most prominent detractors, including John Bravo, of hiring a hitman to take out his mother.
But these men are not the ones that I worried about so much. It's about this email that I received this morning. An email that sounds like it's coming from a hitman. This kind of an email describes exactly what they're going to do to my mother.
The email Ben shows is almost certainly completely fabricated, coming from an email address that doesn't even exist, meaning Ben made this entire thing up just to paint himself as the victim. Now, whatever credibility he has left is certainly gone, and still to this day, Ben is trying to rebrand from being known as a fraud and a violent abuser, much like Wes Watson, who was once seen as the example of how an ex-convict can truly turn their life around, to now facing charges that could land him back behind bars. When Wes Watson first started posting content back in 2019, his videos mainly focused on his time spent in federal prison. Wes claims that he started selling weed during his teenage years and was making up to $40,000 a week, although Wes has given various different versions of this story, so that's just a rough estimate.
At 11, I just started hustling. By the time I was 16, I went and bought a truck at like a lifted Z71 cash, like 50 grand. I had hundreds of thousands of dollars at 15, 16. I started smoking weed at like 13 or 12. By the time I was 14 or 15, the natural progression was to start slanging.
And despite selling what he describes as a large amount of product, he managed to avoid the law for a long time. That was until a fateful night in November of 2009 where Wes physically assaulted a man after a drug deal that had gone wrong. Notably, Wes was not actually involved in the deal itself, but rather serving as more of a low-level grunt called in after the deal fell through. Not exactly the hotshot kingpin he claims he was. What is true is that Wes spent nearly a decade in prison, and stories he told from his time locked up brought him almost immediate success on YouTube. In under half a year since his first upload,
my thing is, as an alpha male leader guy, why are people following a dude who went to prison for 10 years for whatever the reason? Like, are y'all that down bad to where some guy on steroids, obviously on steroids, like yelling at you to do better with your life from some guy from prison? Are y'all serious, bro?
Wes was already able to get 250,000 subscribers, and during the pandemic, Wes had a unique opportunity and began creating more motivational content to help people increase their mental fortitude and physical fitness while trapped at home. This is when Wes began offering what he describes as self-mastery programs, which sought to teach young men how to hone in their physical strength, business capabilities, and mindset. Thanks to programs like this, Wes claims that he now makes an average of $3 million per month.
Like, you don't make $1 million a month, you make a third of what I make a month. If you make $1 million a month, I can't respect someone who's doing a third of me financially. I can respect the guy whose yacht is in 300 million. He murdered me. I have to understand.
And this is how you know what this guy's saying is straight BS. Now, he might be making $3 million a month off of courses, maybe, but so anyone who's running up a bag like that, and anyone who's even close to you in your lane, $1 million a month is an extremely large amount of money. Like, I don't think people understand like how hard it is to run a business and operate it at $1 million a month. And you're telling me you wouldn't take advice from someone else in that similar like sphere as you? That just makes literally zero sense. That's how you know this dude's BS, bro. He's just talking crap.
What he did.
Although we have no way to verify how much money he was actually making, what I can say for sure is any businessman who was making $3 million per month would absolutely respect and listen to the advice of another businessman who was making $1 million per month. Despite his arrogance, Wes was relatively respected in the early days of his content creation career. His videos served as a cautionary tale of just
look at that. Look at these steroid veins, bro. Like, these dudes are on gear. They're on TRT. They're not telling you this. They're trying to look all, get that alpha male, strong, swole look. So you follow them. Like, bro, like, they're enhanced. Like, their stories, their backstories are lies. Like, I bet some of those prison stories were made up. I'm gonna just say it. I bet some of those prison stories that he told were made up. Bro, it's straight BS.
Unforgiving spending time in federal prison can be, Wes sold himself as a man who learned from his mistakes and was trying to teach other people lessons that he had to learn the hard way. In particular, Wes has claimed that his anger issues were the catalyst for many of his problems.
My biggest vice is anger. I have a problem with it. It's the biggest battle of my life. These vices hold us from everything, all our dreams, everything we could ever possibly just gather up and love for our lives. Our vices are holding us from it.
Of course, Wes put on the persona that he was a changed man, and now found healthy ways to deal with his anger.
I don't fall victim to my old vices, the drugs, the negative shit, the anger. I don't fall victim to it no more. I've done so good on my anger lately too. I'm so proud of it. You guys, you have to drop all this shit.
He said the drugs. I bet money this dude's on cocaine. I bet money. I'll bet my whole car on it. I bet my car on it. This dude's on cocaine.
And not drag your family through the mud.
But this didn't seem to be the case, as conflicts in his personal life made it to the public eye, and they showed that Wes hadn't really changed at all, particularly when Valerie Watson, Wes's now ex-wife, posted a video to social media accusing her husband of both physical and emotional abuse.
I literally have held my tongue for way too long to protect him. It's not happening anymore. He's physically hurt me so many times that it's unforgivable. And
Another alpha male woman beater. Keep in mind, to be an alpha male and be in this circle, guess you gotta be a woman beater.
do have a video of Wes charging at me and has put like a knife to my face and literally have told me, like, has threatened to kill me.
Valerie also specifically emphasizes that the person Wes portrays himself to be online is a lie, and that he did not follow the same rules and principles he promoted to his audience.
No shit.
She also included pictures of her bloodied hand and bruised arms, implying that Wes had directly caused the injuries. Then again, it is possible—
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes women be lying, making stuff up to make you look bad, but I don't know. All the stuff just adds up to she's probably telling the truth.
that he had a jealous ex who was just trying to make up stories because he was becoming successful and popular online. That is for sure what Wes's fanbase thought, which is why this wasn't the final nail in the coffin for his career. And over the next few years, more information would come out about Wes that essentially proved to his detractors that his whole life was a hoax. His mega mansion, which he claimed to have purchased, was not actually his. The property was listed for rent at $65,000 a month in October of 2022, and the listing was removed a month later in November, right before he uploaded his vlog showing off the property. His Bugatti Chiron he also does not own. Even his girlfriends, and I'm not joking, are literally rented. Wes was exposed for hiring a female escort for $200 an hour and pretending that she was his actual girlfriend. His house...
Bro, what kind of pathetic... Bro, people do anything for money on the internet, bro. Like, this dude is finessing people who don't even take the due... Maybe they deserve to get finessed. Maybe these guys doing this deserve to get finessed. If you don't take the time to do your due diligence on these people who you're following and worshiping, like, dude, this dude's lying about his house, dude lying about his girlfriends. Like, the moment some alpha male dude tells me he's paying for SCX, he's paying for his girlfriend, like, bro, I can't take you seriously.
Is rented, his cars are rented, and even his girlfriends are rented, which doesn't mean that he is secretly broke. It's just clear he isn't exactly the business mogul he claims to be. If Wes had taken the money he's been wasting on overpriced cars and homes for Instagram and actually invested it, he could have actually owned real assets by now. A large property, maybe not supercars, but still expensive luxury cars. But he didn't do that because Wes is creating the illusion of success to sell more courses and coaching to people who don't understand what real success is, which is, I have to admit, ironically a good business strategy. The problem is this relies on the customer lacking intelligence and desperately wanting a role model, and thus paying a con artist with deep insecurities. He even lies about his height. Despite being listed as 5'8" in court documents, Wes gets furious when anyone suggests he's shorter than 6 feet tall.
What? Hold on. What? Bro is 5'8", telling people he's 6 feet tall?
I'm 6 foot. When we went into medical, when I was booked, I was 6 foot 252. And I said, why the f does my paperwork say 5'8", 230? That's the eyeball of the arresting officer.
To make matters worse, he literally uses special insoles to boost his height, and he does a terrible job at hiding it. Wes has such a hard time keeping track of his lies that the alpha womanizer admitted to being bisexual during an interview.
I was in a Q&A on the way here. Someone said, skinny or thick chicks? I'm like, I like them skinny thick. You know, what the f you mean? Like, everything's like that for me. They're like, are you straight or are you this? I'm everything. I'm not just one or the other.
And
What? What? All right, this is a new one. I haven't heard Andrew Tate say no shit like this. Actually, no, I'm lying. I did hear Andrew Tate say something where he was like, would you rather fuck Hulk Hogan with a dick? No, sorry. Megan Fox with a dick or Hulk Hogan with a pussy? And he was like, obviously, Megan Fox with a dick. If you're fucking Hulk Hogan with a pussy, it's a big, swole, masculine dude that just basically has a pussy. With the girl with Megan Fox with a dick, you can just scoot it out the way. So I'm lying. This is also a very common thing with these alpha male dudes. Very sus behavior. Nothing wrong with it. But very, very, very sus behavior.
Despite portraying himself as a stoic yet intense tough guy who learned from his mistakes and can now control his anger, Wes's temper was completely out of control, violently threatening anyone who had a different opinion than him.
Are you saying that your Bugatti and your money and everything else is worth more than your children?
Like, my dad's a superhero. Look what he brought to the table. Look how hard this guy works. He came from nothing to this.
Yeah.
He works, God damn it!
You're still whining. Stop whining and just make an argument.
Dude, I'll smack your fat ass.
So you're gonna
look at your goddamn self. I've never seen such a pathetic motherfucker.
Okay, well,
let's chill out a little bit, man. A little bit.
This is not what men look like.
Let's let him
what do they
finish
look
his
like?
point.
What do they look like? Bald prisoners?
Like many of these alpha males, Wes also had a habit of challenging other men to fights whenever he felt slighted by them, leading up to an altercation that would change his life forever.
Oh, I've seen this.
Nature of this.
I've seen this video. I'll give some backstory on this. So hold on, let me see what he says.
Video is extremely graphic and cannot be shown on YouTube, but footage of Wes violently beating up another man would be leaked by John Bravo, in which we can see Wes hit the man with a weightlifting belt, then him and his friends pin the man down and endlessly hurl punches at his head and even kick him in the face multiple times. The man in question would press charges, leading Wes to be arrested for felony assault and battery. He is now facing up to 25 years in prison. Ironically, Wes is now right back where he started, and potentially may find himself behind bars once again.
Okay, Patrick is being a little disingenuous with this take on him beating up the guy in the gym. So I actually do have a little bit more backstory on this. I was like watching it when it first happened. It came up on my social media. So basically, the dude, the Wes Watson guy, prison alpha male guru, was going around, you know, saying he'll fight anybody, he'll beat up anybody. He talks about this always on his social media or whatever. And this guy saw him out in public and went up to him and was like, "What's up, bro? Fight me, fight me. Come on. You said you beat up anybody. You say you do this. Fight me, fight me." Which is crazy, which is disrespectful. Like, why would you just go up to a random guy and tell him to start fighting? But it's not like Wes Watson and his team just started beating up some random dude in the gym. He actually was justified. Again, the level that they beat this dude up was completely wrong. They were kicking him in the head and like throwing weights and stuff like that. But the dude did ask for an ass whooping. He just got jumped.
Recently, he has restricted or completely disabled his comment sections on all of his social media accounts, going to show just how fragile his ego really is. Worst of all, his reputation is so destroyed that the only people who are willing to collaborate with him are people like Jack Doherty and the Island Boys. Wes is a perfect example of someone who would have greatly benefited from following his own advice, just like the Liver King, who had a psychotic meltdown after being exposed for not living the lifestyle he promoted. Brian Johnson, better known as the Liver King, was a divisive figure from the very beginning of his career. His claim to fame was the promotion of what he calls the ancestral lifestyle, which sought to replicate the daily routine of our ancient human ancestors. This meant consuming a diet of foods like raw liver, raw bone marrow, and even raw bull testicles. His ancestral lifestyle also applied to his workout routines, which were designed to simulate the physical strain that an ancient hunter-gatherer would experience during a hunt.
Bro, there's no way that's what they were experiencing. Did you see all that gear that he had on him? So you're telling me they're hunting with all their stuff on their back? They're chasing down animals with all their stuff on their back? Like, also,
simulate the physical strain that an ancient hunter...
Look at this. Another one of these alpha male guru guys with the freaking steroids, bro. Look at these veins. Look how big this dude is. This dude's like mid-40s, like late 40s, bro. This big. It's telling everybody he's natural, and people are believing it. Again, if you get fooled, at some point, you kind of deserve to get fooled.
Gatherer would experience during a hunt. Now, the idea of eating bull nuts already made the Liver King a giant meme, but those more familiar with health and fitness believe that Brian was not entirely honest about his ancestral way of living.
There's nothing ancestral about this guy. He's training with high-tech equipment, training properly, progressive overload. I'm gonna spoil it right now. I don't think he's natural. Don't believe that.
Bro, everything I say ends up coming up next in the video. I'm gonna stop pausing and just let y'all watch some more.
And for all the haters, I want to be clear. I believe that there's more than a 50% chance that he's on PEDs.
Brian emphasized a natural and organic lifestyle more than the average fitness influencer, so the idea of him potentially using performance-enhancing drugs would be a much greater scandal than average. Of course, Brian was well aware of this and always rejected the idea that he was using steroids.
Other than the fact that you have a body that you have earned on your own, are you against steroids?
This is what I'll say. I care in the most positive way, because when somebody says, "Hey man, you're on steroids," and they've been saying this for 20 or 30 years. I've been working out since I was 8. So when I was in high school, "Hey man, you're on steroids." This is a great compliment.
There's a lot of subprimals that are convinced that Liver King is taking steroids.
Is Liver King natty?
Do you think if I was on steroids, I would have these appendages down here, these legs?
Have legs?
Do you see how little my legs are? When I was in college, I weighed 175 pounds and I was single-digit body fat. I started working.
You could be on steroids and skip leg day.
At about 8 or 9 years old. I had already been working out for, 10 or 12 years. So now I'm 45 and I've gained less than 1 pound a year over 25 years. So this is what I say to people that make this accusation. If you don't believe this is possible, then I suggest that you take that self-limiting belief, you put that in a box and you bury that next to all your embarrassing and don't open your mouth about it. Let that live with you. Don't let that live with somebody else.
Notice how he never responds to the question with no. He only did outright deny his usage briefly one time on No Jumper.
So again, for the record, I've never taken steroids. I'm thinking about doing it.
Despite this,
I'm thinking about doing it.
Very few were actually convinced that he was natural, and when you think about it, hardly anything about Brian's life was ancestral to begin with. He lives in a modern house and posts on social media every day, not to mention that he uses real weights, modern workout routines, and even a hyperbaric chamber to maintain his figure, all of which ancient humans never had, plus a seemingly endless supply of supplements. I mean, just look at him compared to actual people living a tribal lifestyle. They simply look nothing like him. It's amazing what this primal ancestral diet can do for the human body. As you can see, these African hunters all share the same physique as Liver King. People had good reason to be skeptical, but without definitive proof, Liver King could have just been an anomaly. This would change when he was exposed in a series of leaked emails by a fitness YouTuber named Derek, better known as More Plates, More Dates. These emails were sent before Brian.
Bro, look at this dude. Look at this dude. I wonder what age he was at this, how long ago this was. This can't be that much longer ago. And you're telling me he put on all that muscle and maintains it without steroids? Nah.
Brian's internet fame and show him consulting with a bodybuilding coach on how to improve his physique with the use of performance-enhancing drugs. He notably emphasizes the importance of fine-tuning his regimen in preparation for a social media campaign to grow his following, and lists out his current stack of performance-enhancing drugs. We also get a look at blood work results that Brian shows in relation to his drug usage. Most damning, however, was the revelation that Brian had actually previously reached out to Derek, requesting fitness coaching, and personally revealed his PED usage.
I need to get shredded, have more energy, and get my brain working better, but I overtrain. Approximately 12 to 14 workouts a week and can't stop. I played around with peptides and would like to explore real GH like Omnitrope and others. I sleep well, eat well. I even have a hard shell hyperbaric oxygen therapy, presumably, cold plunge, sauna, etc. at my house. I need next level, which is why I'm reaching out. Can you reassure me that all information discussed, wish confidential, presumably will be held confidential?
What once was likely an assumption was now the truth. The Liver King was lying about his entire online persona. He claimed that his body was achievable through the implementation of his ancestral lifestyle, and sold many on the lie that they could look like him if they followed his system. But now his system looked like a massive joke, and he had no choice but to confess.
I like how these guys only apologize after they get caught. But hey, at least some of these guys don't even apologize after they get caught. They just keep lying.
Brian's apology seems genuine on the surface, however, he continues to lie about many of the circumstances that led him to this point. He claims that he never intended to become an internet sensation, and as a result mishandled his online persona. This narrative relies on you not knowing that Brian openly admitted that he was trying to reach 1 million followers in leaked emails before he even started his social media journey. He then goes on to claim that the Liver King persona was a social experiment aimed to inspire others to adopt healthier lifestyles, even if Brian himself was not personally following the same rulebook.
Okay, so he's trying to take the high road and say he was doing this for a greater purpose? Is that what we're getting at now? You get caught lying and you say it was all just to inspire people and make them feel better? I guess, bro.
He's trying so hard to build a bridge between depressive individuals and his steroid addiction, LMAO. Brian's reputation was completely shattered. Nobody believed Brian's sob stories or deeper motivations, and thus his reputation was completely shattered. He was now nothing more than a complete laughingstock of the internet. While he attempted to return to normalcy following his expose, Brian began to rot as the months went on, both physically and mentally. He notably lost a decent portion of muscle mass due to temporarily quitting the use of drugs to enhance his physique.
Like I said, you can't maintain that weight. I don't care if you're gaining a pound every year for 25 years, bro. You're not maintaining that size, especially at your age. There's just no way.
More fascinating was his extreme mental decline, in which he broadcasted for the entire world to see. People noticed his erratic behavior as he posted countless videos of himself nonsensically rambling.
Break, victory, champion. I like to win in life
or if you'd rather be one of those, you know? It's nice to meet you.
His content evolved into nothing more than an archive of directionless vlogs, filled almost entirely of dead air, only broken up with more incoherent ramblings. Brian had clearly lost his mind, although things would reach a boiling point when he was arrested for making death threats towards one of the largest podcasters on the planet. You see, Brian has an unnatural obsession with Joe Rogan, which was apparent long before he began showing any signs of mental decline. Joe even acknowledged that Brian had frequently made attempts to appear on his podcast, although was never offered an invitation.
One of them came up to me in Vegas.
Nah, like, I've seen some of his stuff on social media. He literally lost his mind for Joe Rogan. He kept trying to fight him and stuff.
My security guard stopped him. He was like, I'm a producer for the Liver King. I'm like, what the f*** do you produce? What are you producing?
Like, how many UFC events did he try and cozy up?
He was front row at one of my shows in Vegas. Yeah, and then I saw him again at the Canelo fight. He was trying really hard to get on the podcast. He's been trying really hard to get on now. He contacted a few friends of mine, and some of them that have, like Bert Kreischer, that had him on the show.
Yeah, he told me he's trying to get on.
Yeah, for what? For what? Say that more? Like, come on, this is dumb, man. You ran a con game, and you got busted.
Joe Rogan's disapproval cut Brian deeply. However, those feelings would devolve into full-blown hatred as his mental health declined further. Brian truly hit rock bottom shortly after the release of a Netflix documentary series about his rise and fall. After a break from the internet, Brian returned looking more disheveled than ever before, with his face caked in dirt, twigs sticking out of his hair, and multiple wounds on his nose and eyebrow. In this video, he acknowledges 3 entities who he believes are trying to destroy his life. These 3 individuals are likely the documentary's creator, More Plates, More Dates, and Joe Rogan. Now he was on a personal vendetta to get revenge on those he believes have wronged him. Brian began openly threatening Joe Rogan, challenging him to a fight and graphically explaining how he would do it.
What I'm hoping is that you, Joe Rogan, are thinking, I'm gonna choke that mother out, lights out, I'm gonna choke him out. And I kind of hope that if you win, that's how it happened. You won't feel me tap. That's never happening, tapping. Shame on you, I'm gonna make you pay. I am gonna actually make you pay. My name's Liver King, man to man. I'm picking a fight with you. I'll come to you whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready to go. Because Joe Rogan, we don't have to make videos to pretend anymore. All of this is happening. We're coming to you. I've challenged you man to man to a fight. You can hold the hand of somebody that you love, because what happens next to you, you're gonna need to remember that feeling. You're gonna need something more than what you did.
But Brian took it.
This dude couldn't handle the fame, public humiliation, and honestly, I think he just completely cracked. Like, I kind of feel bad for him to a degree. I know he lied to all those people and ran up a bag, but like, bro's mental health after getting caught, he completely broke, bro. I don't feel bad for him.
To a whole different level when he revealed that he was traveling to Austin, Texas to find Joe Rogan and literally kill him.
Just pulling up to the capital of Texas. Guess what? You're dead. You're dead. You're dead.
Brian began spamming videos to his Instagram feed all throughout the night, leading up to the next morning when the police arrested him at his hotel after receiving reports of his threats. He was taken to jail but released on a $20,000 bond. Part of his bond conditions were the implementation of a non-contact restraining order, meaning that he could not go near or even speak about Joe Rogan in any capacity. A moment like this should have served as a point of reflection for Brian, realizing that he had gone too far and finally getting the help that he so desperately needs. Unfortunately, that is not the case. As recently as November of 2025, Brian is still obsessing over Joe Rogan, continuing to challenge him to a fight and even taping large pictures of his face all over his walls. This behavior is not normal and continues to make him look extremely manic and or crazy. The cracks in Brian's facade began to show when someone with actual credibility decided to challenge him, just like Dr. Mike Israetel, whose credibility evaporated the moment someone actually read the document that earned him the title doctor, only to find it was full of fabricated claims. What helped Mike stand out from most other influencers.
Yeah, the Mike Israetel situation is crazy. Also, basically, they checked his PhD document. Somebody went and like pulled it up and read it, and it's just full of a bunch of grammatical errors, false information, false like sciences, a bunch of just BS in his paper. And somehow he got his PhD to be able to call himself Dr. Mike Israetel. And if you don't know his background, he's basically like a fitness influencer. He does fitness science. He does reactions to people's fitness body and stuff like that. That's kind of his background.
Influencers in the space was his evidence-based fitness regimen, backed by his PhD in sport physiology. Rather than speaking from personal experience and bro science alone, Mike understood at an educated level what it took to achieve your dream physique, and many lifters took his word as gospel. And this sense of credibility seemed to inflate Mike's ego to an extremely high level, with him often bragging about his high IQ and essentially proclaiming to be the smartest fitness coach on the planet.
I've taken the Ravens Advanced Progressive Matrices test, and I pegged at scale high. So you get every single question right. And so my IQ is above 160. We don't know how high because they don't do standardized IQ tests above that. I'm both on a raw IQ scale smarter than almost every coach, maybe every coach. I know more about physiology, body responses, etc. than they do.
But yet still on steroids.
In most cases. And so if I don't trust you intellectually and I think I can do a better job doing what you do than you, it becomes a real big problem for me to follow your advice.
With this arrogance, Mike found himself in public feuds with a handful of other prominent fitness influencers, frequently getting into debates and turning to personal insults when things don't go his way.
And also in every category of human behavior, I'm tougher than you.
And the thing is, I wouldn't consider Mike Israetel to be in the alpha male improvement space. When I think about the alpha male guys, I think about Andrew Tate. I think about who else? That Myron Gaines dude from Fresh and Fit. You know, like all of those guys and that. The Liver King, he's in that space. Mike Israetel, I don't put him in the alpha male space. I put him more in the fitness space, but I guess he doesn't really have like a whole ideology that people follow, like a cult-like following or nothing like that. He's just a swole guy who talks about fitness science on YouTube. But yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. This was my first video. Y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about these fake alpha males. Comment who your favorite fake alpha male is in the comments below. And yeah, that's it. Hope y'all enjoyed.